as predicted, this is what it is. He got denied bond, but they got a little interesting in the courtroom today because I think the judge is in uncharted territories. You'll understand more of what we're saying real quick. Check this out. We did read the other one, the Diddy updates one, but I ain't gonna hold you. Inner City Press, with this bail one, he killed it at this one. So, U.S. versus Sean Combs, day 35, bail hearing after non-guilty on RICO and ex-trafficking. 2 guilties on Mann Act, Inner City Press covers. 4:59 p.m. in the courtroom. Combs' lawyers Brian Steele and Jason Driscoll are patting each other on the back. Agnifilo is in the holding cell with Combs. His family is in the second row of the gallery. 5:04 p.m. Combs' lawyer Agnifilo, Alexander Shapiro, and Teddy Garagos emerged from the holding cell, still waiting on Sean Combs to be brought into the courtroom by U.S. Marshals. 5:09 p.m. Sean Combs has been brought in, sits next to Teddy Garagos, reading. Agnifilo walks over to the lectern, then back over to a seat. Prosecutors are in place at the front table, waiting on Judge Subramanian. Judge, I've read the party submissions and others. The jury convicted the defendant of counts 3 and 5 for the following reasons. Bail is denied. Even if the defendant was solely required to show that he is not a danger to the community, he could not meet that burden. Prior to trial, the court denied bail and sees no reason to reverse that now. The defense conceded the defendant's violence. His violence is depicted in the video of Cassandra Ventura. The defense admitted this is a terrible moment. Domestic violence is the issue, is what she said. It wasn't only that. There was the London hotel incident. There was violence after the searches in this case. As to Jane, there was June 2024. After the searches of Combs' residences, the evidence is a disregard for the law and a propensity for violence. The court takes no position on what it will consider as sentencing, nor what sentence it will impose. But here, the burden is on him, and he cannot carry it. The defense argues the guideline starts at 21 months. The U.S. says 51 months. He done 10 months. I said sentencing for Friday, October 3rd at 10 a.m. I'm willing to expedite it, comes Agnifilo. We would like it expedited, Judge. We will need an expedited pre-sentencing report from probation, but I will be available anytime, Judge. There is a great divide on the sentencing guideline. I see that Ms. Comey has her statute book open. AUSA Comey. The rule required the preparation of a report. Absent a reasoned waiver, probation may be able to expedite. Judge. Update be by July 8th at noon. Judge. And we'll hold a hearing on the afternoon of July 8th. Comes Agnifilo. Your Honor has a lot of information from presiding over the trial. We want the sentencing as soon as possible. Other Mann Act cases, they're nothing remotely similar to this. The cases we've reviewed involving defendants making money, millions, or involve minors. That's different. Here are the facts from our letter. See United States versus Dylan. Actually, it's U.S. versus Dylan Jordan. I covered it here. Agnifilo. Then there was the Emperor's Club case of the former governor of New York. We understand this is moving quickly. The issue for us is, if we'd had more time, we could have shown extraordinary circumstances. Judge, you concede violence in your closing. Whether that's relevant to sentencing is not for today, but it can be considered on a bail application. Agnifilo. In June 2024, there's an argument that Mr. Combs was defending himself. Judge, Mr. Combs tried to get into a batterers program in New York. The jury never heard that. Then he got arrested. All these months later, here we are. The same drive to meet the head-on, like the self-respecting businessman he is. Combs Agnifilo. He's been a model prisoner. There have been no issues. He's going to have the next chapters of his life. When you're charged with racketeering, you have dark talks. When I was reading the Mia message for his birthday, I had heard the time doing it. Agnifilo. His children are here. His 2 daughters, they're in the middle of the second row. They no longer have a living mother here. The user of prostitution services has been convicted under the Mann Act. He was acquitted of violence for ex-trafficking. He wants to talk to you. Let me check. Judge. Okay, check. Ms. Comey? Comey. His brazenness is almost unmatched. To suggest it was self-defense is insulting. He slapped her in the shoulder. He had drugs in his NYC hotel room. He invited Jane. And Niflo, wicked crowd conditions. Will the court be open to us putting together a bail package? I am happy to do so, Judge. The bail application is denied. We'll receive, hopefully, a joint proposal on expedited sentencing on Tuesday and a hearing at 2 p.m. Adjourned. I think everybody was kind of in agreement, right, that them conceding the domestic violence part kind of didn't help. Because I know this is going to sound horrible. So if it sounds horrible to you and you're like, dang, bro, that was kind of cold, you shouldn't have said that, I overstand that part. But let me put it to y'all this way. One of the things that Diddy has done was wholly effed himself. What you talking about, Nash? Because when you're the man that's trying to figure it all out, you have to have everything figured out. And from the jump, they figured out, I will just go ahead and say that this was domestic abuse. He's sorry. He's done this. He's done that. No, bro, that looked bad. That looked bad, bro. Like, I never seen anything like that. I've never seen anything. I ain't even seen dudes do that before. I've been a spectator of a couple of fights that were very, very brutal. And I ain't never seen nothing like that. I done seen cats get stomped in their head, but man, that reminded me of that Randy Orton kick, bro. But then maybe part of it is because it's a man versus a woman. So, you know, typically with men, we already dumb as hell. So it is what it is. Yeah, I did say men are dumb as hell. We put on plastic. Well, a lot of us used to put on plastic and run into each other at high speeds that felt like car crashes. So I don't want to hear that crap. But either way it goes. As far as the judge, it's hard for people to get a bond when you've already been denied bond already. It's just one of those things where you essentially had to make sure that the freaking prosecutors are lying. You got to catch them in the cold eye. We've literally seen how it goes in the feds with Lil Durk. Lil Durk should have a bond. Y'all got caught lying on the flights. They got caught lying on the music. And then they dropped the charge. This is before they even stepped in court. Before they even scheduled to go to court, which is October 14th, I believe. Either way. Unfortunately, people ain't gonna like this one. It's the right thing to do. It's the right freaking thing to do. Cassie's letter, which I believe is a lie, which I believe that the defense basically said, hey, man, we need y'all to craft something because we gave her qualified immunity, so y'all need to do what we want you to do. I think that right there was like one of those head nods, like, you know, do this, do that. That's what I believe. Because for Cassie to say that she loved that man while she sat there on that stand and he allegedly awed her, punched on her, kicked on her, gave her all type of STDs, stretched that coochie like it ain't never been stretched before. It just doesn't make sense to me that she would do that. So I believe the lawyer just did this with the basically head nod of, you need to do this because it'll look good. If I'm 50 Cent baby mama, darling, you better start getting on that OnlyFans immediately. There are a lot of sick freaks out here that want to see what you do. I ain't one of them. Trust and believe. I blocked you on Instagram. I don't want to see your face ever again in my life. This is going to be fair. But as far as Diddy, it's still a win. They're giving them the 10 months served, which I thought the prosecutors might try to fight that. They're giving them 10 months served. Then on top of that, he's not going to get a bunch of time. He's not going to get 5 years. He's going to get between 4 to 1 year. A 1 to 4 ain't bad, especially when they wanted him to cop out to a 10-year plea deal. Some of you guys forget that part. And I think that's the part where we all kind of sit back and go, yeah, bro. Yeah, it ain't that bad. It ain't that bad. But also at the same time, man, and I know certain people ain't gonna like this one, this saves his life, bro. It does. From what we heard of this dude, from everything that we learned of this dude, bruh, you have drug problems. You just do. You have a lot of drug problems. Then the credo that was created on this channel, Chaos Creates Clarity, you get to see from now on who your true friends really are. Because regardless of anything, regardless of all of that crap, the lies about Sean Diddy Combs are insane to the point where they were just making stuff up. Remember, we were supposed to hear stuff about kids, supposed to hear stuff about a bunch of grown men getting bent over, politicians and all this crap and everything, and none of that stuff happened. None of it. Hell, you even had Nancy Grace come through, lie on Diddy like she been watching all this stuff, and get cooked by TMZ out of all people, because I think TMZ is about to start looking at a lawsuit. Man, look at this.
Nancy Grace, welcome back to TMZ Live. We know you were watching. Your reaction the moment that the verdict came down?
Well, I'm curious as to how you think I would have reacted, but I can tell you I'm shattered. I'm devastated. I feel like I got kicked in the stomach and in the teeth, and I'm sure that makes all of Sean Combs, a.k.a. Diddy's followers, happy. But I'd like to point out that there are other people much more devastated than I am. That would be his rape victims.
Victims? It was only one person. It was only Cassie. Unless I'm forgetting something. What do you mean the victims? Your girl said she didn't want to do it, but she did it because of her rent. So what the hell are you talking about? Man, listen. Y'all need to go back and watch that damn 2 Chainz interview when he grilled her, bro. She be sounding stupid, bro. Keep watching, man. God, dog.
They're devastated. And dare I speak for victims all across the country, they're devastated because it does show that there is rich man's justice, which is very different from what I believe justice is supposed to be. I think Sean Combs is guilty on all counts. And I'm sorry the jury couldn't understand the facts the way I understand them. And another thing, all the joyous rapture dancing in the halls of the courthouse, cheers erupting outside the courthouse, we haven't had sentencing yet. And when I read, for instance, your banner, shame on you. The banner should be Sean Combs convicted on 2 felonies, facing a potential 20 years.
No, not at all.
What?
Let me make the point. There was more serious
They would never have
for the other
filed
charges.
these charges against him if it were just the Mann Act. These charges, Nancy, were filed because of Cassie's lawsuit alleging what the prosecutors lost in this case. They never would have filed this case. This is a nonviolent crime. If committed in a state, might even be a misdemeanor. So to say that he was convicted and that's the headline is just wrong.
You're right. He did get acquitted on the most serious charge. You're right. There's been a lot of ridicule heaped on the state. But I can tell you this, Levin, I've gone into court many, many times thinking I would lose. And why did I do it? Because I believe in trying to do what you believe in, what you think happened, what you think is true. I understand the cross-examination of Cassie Ventura. I understand what she said in some of her texts to pacify, to placate Sean Combs. I get it. And they crossed her on that, and they won. You're right. Sean Combs acquitted on the most serious charge, and that would be RICO.
You know, South Park taught us this word. It's called a pander bear. That's exactly what she is. If y'all don't know what a pander bear is, they are people who will pander to the crowd because that's what the crowd likes for them to do. Seti Nash ain't a pander bear. I know a couple of YouTubers who are pander bears because they told me flat out, I won't do anything that goes against what my people like and whatever my people believe. So if they believe this, I'm going to go with that. If they don't believe this, I'm not going to believe that. There's a bunch of pander bears out there right now that are doing YouTube with y'all. But it is what it is because sometimes that does pay the bills. But when you have no balls, that's the problem. Either way that goes, man. It's one of those things where we had to sit back and be honest. It wasn't that bad, bro. Was it disgusting? Yeah. I ain't never heard of a man putting jizzle juice on his goddamn nips and going coast to coast. I've never heard of that. But it's not illegal. And it's one of the reasons why y'all be like, man, Seti Nash, you heard about this celebrity sleeping with this celebrity and all. Why I don't care for any of that stuff, because these are realms in which I'm very uncomfortable in. As always stated, I don't care who you sleep with as long as you ain't abusing animals, sleeping with kids, and taking it from people who don't want to engage in it. If there's two dudes, man, it is what it is. There's two women, it is what it is. If it's 3 women and 1 dude, 3 men, 1 woman, I don't care. It ain't up to me. It's whatever y'all decide to do. And I have no thoughts on it. I don't care who anybody sleeps with. But I will continuously tell y'all this. This whole entire RICO was bullshit. This was bullshit. And this is a bad day for the feds. Y'all basically use millions of dollars. Think about what they did. They burst into homes in 3 different states. In Florida, California, and New York. Used a lot of freaking police forces and special services and all this crap to do what? To find him guilty of some bad text messages and some flights from some people who were all willing participants. They all conceded to this. I don't give a damn what anybody says about Cassie, bro. Cassie liked that shit. She did. Cassie liked that shit. You were with that man for 11 years. I can see 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Cool. But you were literally on voicemail, yelling, talking like a gangster. Jane, 50 Cent baby mama. I won't be saying her real name because I think y'all can get in trouble for that, and I'm not going to say it. Bruh, you still staying in the house that he is paying for. If you really despise this man like that, why is his money good enough but he ain't? Why is his money good enough but he isn't? So it's just this stuff that exists, bro, where you sit back and you go, they use all of these resources. And then even Harvey said, if these were in these states, these would be misdemeanors. They would be. This is the overreach of the government once again. And I'm going to tell y'all, like I said, I think Trump is going to go ahead and pardon him. And to be fair, I think he should. I'm not liking the stuff I'm seeing out of one of my favorite rappers of all time. One of the dudes who's literally responsible for my physique when I was a youngin', trying to build weights and stuff like that and look like 50 Cent. I'm not liking how, bro, you just can't charge it to the game. Your baby mama got hit by a bunch of dudes, and it sucks. True indeed. But wishing prison on a man is insane to me. And then talking about, I'm going to talk to Trump about not getting... Man, come on, bro. Now, he might be trolling and all this crap, but it still look lame to me, man. And I never thought I would say that about 50 Cent because 99.9% of everything he do, I'll be with him on. But this one right here, this stuff against Diddy, bro, just because he extra freaked out, so fucking what? We all have vices. We all have a vice that we would not like people to know. And this just unfortunately happens to be his. But I think what this does do for him, I think it is a form of self-control that he has to do. Now, if he got dudes in there doing all that and he got a boyfriend in there and his boyfriend is over there spreading it and getting hit for extra honey buns and soups, then, bro, did he stay in there forever, bro? But if that ain't going on, man, this shit is just too much, bro. It just is. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts on this, man. Share to keep your people aware. Subscribe, turn on that bell, and stay notified. Hit that like button like you like something, man. HNO, help Nash out. I will catch y'all in the next one.